I can confidently say that up until now, around the world, when it comes to the backhand flick, truly mastering the technique, there are actually fewer than 3 people who truly understand it. Everyone can do the backhand flick, but the true essence and core of it is understood by very few. I looked at my backhand flick. To this day, I can tell everyone in the live stream, up until now, I haven't seen anyone with a better flick than mine so far. Now, 90% of people can do the backhand flick, and that's a conservative estimate. Whether they use a pen-hold grip or shake-hand grip, they can do the backhand flick. I think the question is, what is advanced technique? Let me tell you, advanced technique. The premise is that it must be reasonable to be considered advanced. Now, I only watch one person play. I only watch Ma Long play. Because I think his technique is the most advanced. Why is it advanced? Because it's reasonable. It's only advanced when it's reasonable. Why has Ma Long maintained his form so well? It's because he's reasonable. That's why it's advanced. This is something everyone agrees on. Why is it that some young players, even though their techniques and styles are very advanced, still can't win? Why is that? Because they're not reasonable. They exert force with both forehand and backhand, right? That's not advanced. As I said, I only watch Ma Long play. I don't watch anyone else. Because they're not reasonable. They're not advanced, right? So, the level of advancement in table tennis techniques depends on whether or not it's reasonable. Why have so many people gone off track now? Because they're not advanced. I'm just being straightforward. When it comes to professionalism in table tennis, I think that no matter how advanced you are, your technique and style are only advanced if they are reasonable. If they're not reasonable, then no techniques are advanced. So that's why some players are able to maintain a certain win rate, while finding it hard to break through. This is the reason. Because you need to practice techniques that suit your own style. I can confidently say that up until now, around the world, when it comes to the backhand flick, truly mastering the technique, there are actually fewer than 3 people who truly understand it. Everyone can do the backhand flick, but the true essence and core of it is understood by very few. Many people just pursue speed and power blindly. They chase after backhand flicks of impossible shots. They just blindly pursue these things. The truly important elements of the backhand flick. First, I think, is the spin. Second is the speed. Third is the placement. And you need to have the determination to win with one decisive shot in critical moments, along with accuracy. I think that's the most important thing. It's not just about thinking of the shot in key moments, but not being able to execute it. That indicates your fundamentals aren't solid enough. If you think about it, you can watch my videos, the match videos. If you think about it, you have to do it. This is the essence of mastering this technique.
Zhangjike 接发球。
哇，这胆子太大了！你看这小子眼神。赢了之后，你看小跑着捡，那比前面的时候明显不一样。你看，这就是现在他大赛的经。
1, 2.
Has been the phrase that we've heard bandied about. He certainly has.
In the current table tennis world, the backhand flick, there is not a particularly outstanding player who has mastered this technique. I can tell you this. It's because in areas like transitions, including finger and wrist strength, and in terms of handling the ball with proper technique, they are still lacking. Speaking of which, I'm very confident in my technique so far. If someone has a better backhand flick than me, you can leave a comment. Wang Manyu, Fan Zhendong, his spin isn't good. He just trained hard, he's good people. But his spin isn't good. Wang Manyu among female players, I think her backhand flick is number one. Wang Manyu's backhand flick technique is indeed strong. Coach Xiao taught her well. Coach Xiao taught her all the things that he taught me. Wang Manyu's backhand flick is an example of how female techniques are becoming more masculine, which is a good thing. Ma Long's backhand flick, if you ask him, he'll definitely say it's not as good as mine. You can ask him. His other techniques might be better than mine, but not this one. However, his coordination and the integration of skills and tactics are why he is currently ranked number one in the world. That's something that everyone agrees on. I looked at my backhand flick. To this day, I can tell everyone in the live stream, up until now, I haven't seen anyone with a better flick than mine so far in the whole world. Just within this technique. Yes, just in this technique. There's no need to be humble. In the world of table tennis, I think there's no place for humility. Haha. Yes, and then, for example, like I just said, the rationality of this technique. Ma Long is definitely number one in the world. There's no doubt about that. This is universally acknowledged. That's why it's advanced, yeah? Because it's rational. That's why it's advanced. Why can't anyone beat him? It's because of this. And in terms of exploring the technique, I think he's also number one. Feed me a ball. When I do the backhand flick, I can tell everyone, if you can understand, listen. If you don't understand, you can leave a comment, or send me a private message or leave a comment. I will read it. My wrist and finger strength is quite strong. So when I make this move, my backswing is quite large. So when I strike, it's hard for the opponent to predict. When the ball is hit, it has, how should I say it? It's like a banana ball in football. Its curve is quite exaggerated. So it's actually like this. The power mainly comes from your fingers and wrist. The explosive force when they make contact with the ball. And when you want to flick with different speeds and different spins, you need to prepare well for the next shot. Sometimes you want to flick with a side spin. Sometimes you want to flick a fast ball. These are actually for your next move, unless you want to score directly. I think this technique is something I've practiced for a long time. In training and in matches, I've tested it thousands of times. After experimenting countless times, I've come to this conclusion. It's hard for me to describe it. It's a secret move. It's a secret move. There's no way around it. It's a secret move. When you have a trump card like this, when you enter a match, others will avoid this technique. When they avoid this technique, it makes it easier for you to use your other techniques.